It's good. Okay, let me say hi to everyone again, as I can see a few people joined, and thank you for being here with us. And it's very nice, as we were saying, it Piers, very nice being back after summer break, which has been nice here in England as well. And I hope also where you are, guys. I'm Chiara Serangeli. I'm a sales manager at Marosa VAT. Marosa is going to have a very busy time and rich schedules in terms of webinar events. So watch out for our newsletter. We always like to keep our customer updated with all the e-commerce news and with the event that we join. So you can read our newsletter with all the news. And today we would like to give you some tips on how to avoid a common issue that often affect the e-commerce sellers. Both of us, myself and Piers, are quite experienced and often spend the entire day talking to e-commerce sellers. So we hope that we're going to give you some good advice. As I said, I'm very happy here to have Piers Eveleigh, who is a business development and partnership manager at Storfund. We're going to cover some interesting aspects, and I hope that all of you guys are going to join. I have some questions that go ready for Piers, so you will see me ask a question to Piers. So the format will be very much in that way. But if you guys have a question that you want to pop in the chat, I'm more than happy to jump on the question that you have, and I will keep in mind for after. So yeah, I leave Piers introduce himself, and then we can start with our question.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me. I'm glad to be here. Always excited to speak to you, Chiara, and appreciate you bringing Storfund onto this webinar. Yeah, my name's Piers, so I'm part of the commercial team at Storfund. I'm responsible for managing our business development and partnerships efforts on a global scale. I've been with the team now since June, so still quite new, but I've been working in the space for quite a bit longer. So I used to work for Thrasio, the aggregator, where I was responsible for driving their business development efforts in the UK and Europe. Before that, at Avast, where I was responsible for international business development. So yeah, it's great to be here and very excited to be talking to all of our audience today.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, we as we said, we're gonna give you guys some tips on how to avoid a certain issue. But yeah, definitely more happy. I can see actually we have one person is writing the chat, and yeah, keep going to do like that, guys. That is good. For my experience, this is the time of the year where e-commerce sellers go back from the summer break and start to think about the strategies for Christmas. So of course, Christmas is one of the main points for online sales, and it's very good arriving there with a good strategy and not be stuck with the issue. So regarding these, Piers, if you think about the main problems the e-commerce sellers have to face, what those are for you, and let's underline those so that people, meantime, they plan and develop their strategy that basically can avoid to be stuck in those issues.
Yeah, 100%. We refer to holiday season or Christmas season as the golden season. But like you mentioned, the golden season magic doesn't just happen overnight. There's a lot of planning, preparation, strategizing that goes into ultimately having a successful Q4. So I think, it's a great question to kick things off. Like put simply, the world that we live in these days, everything has a price, right? And growing your business online is no exception to that rule. So I'm sure most people listening today will agree that marketplaces like Amazon have transformed e-commerce for the better. You've got access to millions of customers in different marketplaces, and you've got models like FBA that actually take a lot off the plate and allow sellers to focus on growing their business. But lots of these marketplaces like Amazon have introduced lengthy payment or disbursement terms, meaning that actually sellers' growth is stifled and they can't grow at the rates that they'd like to. So, I mean, to put this simply, if you look at a bricks and mortar business that's selling, I don't know, dog collars over a counter, they will know that if they sell a dog collar, then they're going to receive the money from that sale immediately. So that's great, and it's easy to forecast. But if you take the same seller that's selling the dog collar via Amazon, then they're going to have to wait for Amazon's disbursement cycle, which can take 2 weeks plus the next payment date.
Yeah.
So you might actually be waiting for 3 weeks before you get paid. And also, by the way, Amazon might hold back a certain amount, which is called your unavailable balance. So it becomes very, very hard to predict your cash flow, basically. And cash is king, ultimately. In the day that we live in, you need money in order to scale. Everything's become a lot more expensive over time, and we've seen that a lot more during COVID, with the price of shipping going up 10x in certain cases. Amazon and other marketplaces are becoming much more pay to play, so you really have to kind of pump PPC in order to get your listings up on the first or second page. So the idea of Storefund was really born out of that problem that we see e-commerce sellers facing every day. And we have a very simple goal, right? It's to make immediate payments the norm. So we want to allow sellers to really reap the benefits of immediate payments and faster cash flow so that they can maximize their growth potential.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Thank you, Piers. I mean, yeah, of course, like selling through Amazon is the benefit is that you have a lot of visibility clearly, because the majority of the people that want to purchase online, maybe one of the main research will be made by through Amazon. However, as you said, yeah, if you sell through your own e-commerce, you can like get the sale done quickly in the sense of the money, and with Amazon can be an issue. But yeah, that is good, and that actually brings up one of the main issue that lots of my customers, which is a cash flow. I work for both markets, Italian market and the UK market, and lots of Italians particularly, they experience issue with the cash flow, which can represent a massive blocker for those that cannot invest they cannot spend a big budget on investing for buying goods. And that is something that I'm always like sad to hear, because clearly my customer, what I want they focus mainly is actually on finding goods and finding the good supplier and start to purchase as much as they can for then put on the market and sell it. This is what I think they have to care most about, when instead this represents one of the main blockers. So I don't know, do you want to develop that a bit in terms of cash flow?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key thing here is liquidity. It's difficult for Amazon and other marketplace sellers, especially those that are sourcing from far away from the marketplaces they're selling in, and their cash cycles are already very long because, they're paying their supplier upon a shipment being made from China or somewhere in the Far East potentially. And then they might wait 6 weeks before those products even land, and then you have to go through the sales cycle. So yeah, we frequently see cash cycles on Amazon of anywhere between kind of 45 days right up to 6-8 months. So one of the main benefits of using a solution like Storefund is that you're going to be able to access your liquidity much, much quicker than you would be able to do just through using Amazon's disbursement cycle or your marketplace's disbursement cycle as normal. You'll then be able to churn your cash more times per year and do that faster. So if you consider you use the proceeds of your sales to potentially, you can negotiate better rates with your suppliers, you could potentially restock faster and make sure that you don't run out of stock. You could increase your marketing spend and you could launch more PPC campaigns, expand into new markets, launch new products, etc., etc. So the possibilities are endless, really, and ultimately it's down to the seller on how they use this cash and how they use it effectively. But when it's used right, it can have an incredible impact on the business, and we've seen that firsthand. We've seen 6-figure brands go to 7 figures, 7 to 8, and we've even got a couple of 9-figure sellers that are using the solution. So we've seen the effects over the last 5 years.
Yeah, that is good, because as you said, that money that before, without solution like yours, guys, they have to invest to actually waiting to receive it from Amazon. Now they can be invested, and of course they accelerate their growth, like a doubling, because they can invest and then they can keep going. If you're someone like let's say, for example, it's me, they have to start to use your service, guys, and I want to look for Storefund. What I need to do, what are the steps, what actually is required for customer to do? Just explain us very much simple, like if it's literally like myself that I want to approach to you guys, how do I do?
Well, we try and keep it as simple as possible for our customers. So thankfully, there's not too many touch points as part of our registration journey. But yeah, look, if people want to sign up, all of our sign up takes place via the website. It's done in 5 easy steps, and usually it takes no longer than 10 to 15 minutes. So we're going to ask for a standard set of documentation. So it's going to be things like your personal information and then company documents. So proof of address, proof of identity, company incorporation certificate. And once we've got those documents, what we'll do is we'll schedule a call with myself and one of our growth advisors. And that call is really to make sure that the solution is tailored and bespoke to each of our customers and they maximize exactly what they need out of the service. So it's a very straightforward registration journey. And if anyone does need help with the documents or the questionnaire that we ask for, then we're always on hand to help people.
Yeah, that is good. Thank you. So basically, it would be quite like an automated process to do all the registration through the website, and it's good that you guys still want like take care of contact clients and talk over the phone. So there is also the customer service aspect on there. Did I get right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Storfund was built as a tech company, so we try and automate where possible because that saves everyone a lot of time. But there's also, there's a very human element to what we offer at Storefund, and we're very customer centric in our approach. So I prefer a bit of a hybrid model where you have good technology and great people.
Yeah, no, I don't know how much you know about Marosa PS, but we definitely are similar to their approach. We use like our technology, we have our software, which is a Vatify that we developed, and they help us to automate lots of process for customers, but also gives them like a page where they can refer to, they can keep track of everything. But at the same time, we still believe that having an account manager that you can call or exchange emails is crucial. So all our customers, they have a dedicated person which speaks their language, and that makes all the difference. And then of course the technology side, I feel that is so important, like you said now, because otherwise lots of communication they can get missed or lost through emails. When you have one single place to refer to, it makes all very tidy and nice, which is much better.
For sure. It sounds like our approach is very similar. Do you guys also do things like EPR? I've heard that come up a lot recently.
Oh my God, yes, of course. Yeah, it's one, and it's quite important right now for company like ours to be on top of things like EPR, because customer really need. And yeah, thank you for bringing up. Definitely, like in tomorrow will be the deadline for France, so probably my registration team is very busy today to finalize all the process. Germany as well is increasing the categories for EPR. So if any of you guys is listening to these webinars is struggling to register for EPR, which is a like the new legislation, especially taking place in France and Germany, you can reach out to us guys and we will help you. With Germany, we do very fast. In 1-2 days, you all done. With France, it's a bit longer, but no more than 3 weeks. So definitely we can help all of you. And I know how much it is hard now to be on top of everything. Because well, as we were saying, Piers, one of the problems for e-commerce sellers is also be always fully updated with everything that's going on. So when you can work with the providers like us, or you can use the companies like Storfund, at least all of these aspects is someone else that take care of it, and you don't need to, as a customer, you don't need to consider like, oh, when do I get paid, or can I expand? Is someone with a declaration? Yes, this is
it's vital. I mean, look, e-commerce has changed so much over the last few years, and it can be very hard for smaller businesses to understand what needs to be done at various different stages of their growth life cycle. So having someone that they can call upon and someone who can support them through that journey is vital, in my opinion. We actually had a seller yesterday reach out to us, one of our customers, because one of their shipments has been blocked because of not having their EPR compliance in place. So
oh no,
this is very much a big issue for a lot of people at the moment.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like at the beginning, EPI has been introduced a bit like not well explained. So lots of people feel like maybe they could wait a bit longer, but now the time is to, you have to register. But it's easier than what they think. So it's always good to be supported by companies. I have a question for you that meantime you were talking, I actually just I just thought about. Do you guys work with any size company, or do you like the company that can approach you need to be on certain sites?
Yeah, I mean, our service is, I mean, it's highly valuable irrespective of size, but it's perfect for businesses that are already on a growth trajectory. So typically we see sellers starting to come to us when they've hit already decent milestones, like reaching 6 figures over the course of a year. And at that point, they're ready to really kind of monetize what they've already built and grow even further. So I'd say, you know, we do have a minimum threshold. We don't tend to work with kind of really early stage businesses. So we like to see as a minimum 6 months of trading history. And I'd say pretty much all of our customers have already hit 6 figures when they come to us.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Is there any specific reason, or it's just like it work out better, the kind of service that you provide to be at least on 6 figures?
Yeah, I mean, it works better. You know, also it's less risky for us. And to be honest, you know, when a seller's already reached that point, it's very likely that they're going to experience various pain points when it comes to growing further. And cash flow, you know, it's a fundamental really for these businesses who want to move from 6 figures to 7 figures. So they're looking at different solutions in the market. Storfund is becoming more of a name as we grow further. So we're, you know, experiencing more and more interest over time.
No, that is very good. Thank you. If you have to give like someone an advice regarding a strategy that they want to set up for Christmas, what would be like the first few points that you would think about?
It's a good question. I would say that now that we are already in September, most people will have an understanding of what products are going to make them like the majority of their revenues and profits over Christmas. So really focusing on those products, you know, can they potentially optimize the listings? Do they potentially want to look at some kind of, you know, changes in the keywords, because those change over time, and naturally as you come into holiday season, people will start searching for different terms. You know, if you don't have A+ content, I'd suggest getting that in place. And, you know, the quality of your pictures and videos also on your listings a big thing now as well. So I would say that really focus on what you already know is going to make you your money, and you know, try and go for that.
Yeah, it's definitely not the moment where you should take any risk. I definitely agree. Christmas needs to be a safe point, a safe moment for making the majority of your sales. And try with a new product now can be quite risky, because you could miss. I mean, of course, like take a risk is always a part of the job of someone as an entrepreneur, but you never know if Christmas is the right moment to do that.
And the last thing, sorry, you don't want to
Yeah.
do for Christmas is run out of stock. So
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
main
Make
point,
sure the supplier.
yeah,
Yeah. Wow.
make sure that you have stock. Make sure that if you don't have enough stock, you know, you can order faster to get more stock.
Yeah.
And you know, there are still bottlenecks that we're experiencing with supply chain, and you know, as you probably know, China is still experiencing local
Yeah.
lockdowns and
I was going
electricity
actually
issues. So
to mention that. Yeah.
yeah, there's lots to do, which is again, you know, why it's important to work with people to help you through the time that
Yeah.
we're at the moment.
What do you think about diversify your suppliers? Is it something that you sometimes I mean, I find that it's good to have more than one supplier, especially like with COVID. You really experienced that. I mean, of course, COVID is I hope it's one-off thing. It's not gonna repeat the same situation, but I think that taught us how having more than one supplier can make the difference on keep going to have a good sales. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's difficult, right? Because up until COVID, most people probably didn't need to
Yeah.
diversify in terms of manufacturer or supplier, because supply chain just used to work, and we didn't experience these problems before. But I think now it's worth exploring. It will depend on your products and your categories, and obviously the most important thing is the quality of your product, because that is, you know, Amazon is your, you know, your, I guess your position on the page is all about your reputation, right? So Amazon's algorithm is based on your reviews, your ranking, etc. So the last thing you want to do is diversify suppliers and then find out that you haven't actually got the same quality of
Okay,
products that you
yeah.
had before. So quality checks are very important if you are looking to do that. And there was a lot of talk about potentially looking to find a supplier closer to the market that you're selling in, but actually most of the raw materials still come from the Far East. So it's just whether or not there's,
Yeah, work out
another
well.
piece of the jigsaw that's not actually solving much. So I
Yeah.
don't think it's as easy as just saying diversify your supplier. I think there's lots of
Mhm.
checkpoints that you have to go through.
It's very good what you're saying, because as a consumer, I mean, of course, I work in the industry and I provide service, but I'm also a person that purchase goods. And what always like leaving me a bit skeptical is when in the reviews I read that someone receive a product completely different from someone else, and then it's something that often scares me, because it's also a matter of luck. I don't know in which product I'm gonna receive, if it was the one from the good supplier or the one from not. So yes, I definitely agree with you. We have a question in the chat that I'm gonna ask you. Yeah, we have a Marcus asking, yeah, I'm just gonna read. I need to get
Yeah, no
closer
problem.
so you know. Yeah. So yeah, basically, Marcus asking us if you need a specific bank account, like with specific currency. I imagine that Mark is meaning, yeah, for working with the Storfund.
No, you don't. So one thing that kind of sets Storefund apart from maybe other options is the fact we are a very global company. We were born out of Europe, so really the global approach was something we went with since we were incorporated back in 2018. So we can work with sellers from all over the world, UK, EU, US, Chinese, Australia, and so on. And we also hold currency, different currencies. We can apply very low FX rates. So look,
Yeah.
there is no limit.
In this specific specific case, Mark is writing that he's from Hong Kong. So do you have any issue with the Hong Kong bank account, or that is completely fine?
It would be great to connect afterwards. As I said, there's very few countries that we're limited to working with sellers from.
Okay,
So
perfect.
I would say no. But let's have a conversation afterwards, Mark,
Absolutely.
and make sure that it's worked.
Yeah. Now that's a very good question anyway, Mark. Thank you for asking, because yeah, it's something that I was thinking as well. So the currencies, of course, like we're talking, especially in this webinar that we are doing in English, and that can reach anyone basically, and the currency can be lots. And I take the opportunity to say that we are going to have a webinar with Storefund also in Spanish and in Italian. So you're going to receive on our newsletter also the invitation for those webinars. I will be the person for the Italian one, and my colleague David will be for the Spanish webinar alongside with Piers colleagues. So yeah, if in case you want guys in other languages, we are coming. We are going to do it as well. Perfect. So Piers, like, I'm going to ask you if you have any offer for our customer, if there is something the Storefund can offer to Marosa customer, or in general to everyone that is watching today these webinars or the recording.
Yeah. So any Marosa customer, so whether they're watching today or they watch via LinkedIn or on demand, we've prepared a 2-week free trial where any Marosa customer can test our solution without any fees or commitments whatsoever. So in order to claim that, simply let whoever you speak to upon your onboarding know that you've come from Marosa, and we'll make sure that this is applied to your account. And the first couple of weeks, you'll benefit from receiving payments every day for the sales that you've made without any fees or commitments. And then it's either love us or leave us. There's no commitment. So we're confident that you'll see the value, and most people see that immediately. So
Perfect. No, thank you very much. That is very nice. Thank you. Let me see if we have any other question in the chat. Nope, we don't have any more questions. Do you have some more points that you want to raise, some more information that you want to give us today?
I can give you a quick overview on kind of how the solution works. So It's very simple. Sell today, get paid today. So how that works, Storfund is integrated with marketplaces such as Amazon, so that when sellers register to use our service, we will pull the sales data from your Seller Central. Over 24 hours, we then read that sales data. And at the end of the day, we then pay the seller for what they've sold instead of them having to wait 2 weeks or 2 months, depending on the marketplace. So let's just take an example, because I find that people really understand examples a lot more than me just explaining. Let's assume on the day that you join our service, Amazon owes you 100K, £100,000 unavailable balance and also sales for the day. That same day, we're going to advance 80% of your total balance, so 80K. And then subsequently, every day after that first day, what we'll do is we will advance 80% of your daily net sales. When Amazon then distributes every 2 weeks, we'll forward the remaining 20%.
I see.
The reason we forward 80% rather than 20 is because 20% is the buffer against things like refunds, returns, unexpected platform charges. So in most cases, we can help double, in some cases triple, the number of cash cycles you have per year, number of times you can churn your cash. And as I was saying, we've seen the efficacy of this solution over the years. So our customers have grown anywhere between 20% and 500%. It's really amazing to see. Yeah.
That is big. No, that is very interesting. Thank you. I actually spoke today with one of my client is based in Switzerland. And funny enough, he said that as soon as you guys started, he joined your company because he was actually looking for a solution like that. Because he sells, this is interesting actually, and it can help lots of people on the margin scheme. He sells product margin scheme. So of course, like he's already buy products and then reselling, and the margin can be always a bit not massive on this sort of sales. So for him, it's crucial using services like yours. So I definitely advise everyone on the sort of scheme to reach out, especially. We have one question actually, meantime we're talking. So Daniel asks us, I sell on Amazon UK and Amazon Europe. Can I get paid in both currencies?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can, Daniel. Perfect. So that doesn't make any difference in case like is a one pound in one case is pound, in the other case is euro. For Storfund, it doesn't create any troubles.
Yeah, so I mean, we're integrated across 17 Amazon marketplaces. So some of our customers will use our solution on their main marketplace, where the majority of their sales might be coming from, whereas some larger sellers may be, seeing significant revenues from lots of different marketplaces. So they'll use our solution across, I think the largest seller is using this across 12 different Amazon marketplaces.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's very good that you're mentioning that. So basically, your customer, when they join you, they can decide in which marketplaces they want use a Storfund. For example, if they are very strong in I don't know, in a couple of countries, they can decide that Storfund helps them on those countries. And then maybe when they are trying to push a bit and they need to understand. Oh, interesting.
Exactly.
I didn't get that at the beginning.
Yeah, it's we put our customers in control at all times. So this is a very flexible, very transparent service. We also have no notice periods or tie-ins. Lots of other financing options will have 30-day tie-ins. We do have sellers that will turn this on and off throughout the year. So for example,
based on their needs.
So holiday season, we're seeing people turning this on at the moment because the pinch point for them is between September and November, where they need to restock faster. Come January, February, if they have a cash cycle of 90 days, perhaps the 2-week difference isn't as valuable as it is during this phase of the year. So people can decide to use this all the time, or you can simply turn it on and off throughout the year.
Oh, that is very good. And it's also good to have this flexibility because, often it's difficult. I mean, all e-commerce sellers, they need to have their own strategy and it's important to have. But sometimes you realize things at the last minute, and having a company that gets you and staying with them for longer than what you actually need it, sometimes it can be the opposite of be an advantage, can be disadvantage. So you guys are providing this flexibility is very nice. Good.
Look, we know that everything in this sector happens at breakneck pace, and things can change very quickly. So, you know, we're here to support our customers. You know, if a seller comes to us and says, you know, hey Piers, my sales are not as much as they were 3 months ago. We don't need the solution at the moment. We want to turn it back on, you know, in November. That's completely fine. So, you know, that flexibility really benefits businesses that are on Amazon and other marketplaces, because things do fluctuate from time to time.
That is nice. And yeah, so I invite everyone to contact Piers. Of course, I'm gonna share with all of you his contact details. And as you also guys are gonna have an offer where you can try the service for a couple of weeks. And as Piers has said, there is not this period to switch off, so it's very easy. But definitely give a go and see the benefits and advantage to have it. And Piers is not only well aware of all the Storfund, he's very much prepare on everything regarding e-commerce. So having a chat with him, it can be always a benefit for e-commerce sellers, like you are actually proving us today, giving us all of these good tips. So thank you very much actually for all the content you are providing.
No problem. That's very kind of you. I'll try and help where I can.
Absolutely, and you do great. Yeah, do you, I don't know, Piers, if you have some aspect that you feel that we didn't cover and you would like to cover?
No, I think naturally more questions will happen over time and throughout the onboarding. So I think today hopefully gave everyone kind of more context around the problem that e-commerce sellers have when it comes to cash flow. And then, you know, problem meets solution. Storfund is here to help you with your cash flow and to help you grow your sales. You know, if people are interested, as you just said, there's 2 weeks free. And, you know, I'm happy to help where I can, like I said. So even if it's just for a confidential chat about other things and I can put you in contact with people who I know in the space, then I'm happy to do that as well. And thanks again for having us on.
No, absolutely. This has been great. And we, as Marosa, we are trying to expand our network with the partners as much as we can, because we want to provide one single solution for all our customers. But service like yours, of course, we cannot provide it. So for us, it's great. Find a partner that really can give a good value, to add a good value for our customers. So thank you very much for being here today, Piers, and thank you for everyone that joined us for the webinar. And yeah, we're gonna see it again in the next webinars, probably in other languages, or we will do also the webinars with Piers. So thank you, everyone. I hope that you guys are gonna have a nice rest of the day, and thank you again.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Chiara.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.